Somebody pinch me right now because it's happening. It's actually happening. And I have been talking about this moment for so long that the fact that it's actually happening is crazy. But here we are. Welcome to Girls in Retrograde. I'm Leslie Daniela, and I'm so excited to finally share this space with you. I have been working on this for so long to get where we are. Oh my God, it's been a journey, girl. It's been a hell of a journey, but that's what this podcast is about. This podcast is all about sharing personal experiences, growth, relationships, spirituality, all while diving into the stars and reflecting on our journeys together. My favorite tool for understanding life is astrology, and if you know me, you know this. You know this is a fact. Like, my first question after I meet someone, it's not my first question. I usually I'm one of those people, I try to guess their star sign. And then afterwards, I'm like, so what's your star sign? Just so I'm like, to feel if I sort of was able to narrow it down, trying to figure out people's signs. Anyway, so in here, we'll navigate everything from finding independence to deeper connections. Because I have ADHD, right? I tend to go off topic a lot of times. I'm trying to make a video as well of this. If you notice me looking on the side, is because I tend to go and talk about so many different things at once. So I make sure to put like a little bullet point list so I don't lose track of myself and we don't end up talking about, the world ending or something, because that's how it is when you talk to me about anything. I'll just end up talking about, mermaids. Could be a topic in the podcast. Just saying, I'm very interested in mermaids. If you don't know me, let me introduce myself. I'm Daniela. I'm originally from Colombia. I've been living in London for about 9 years, actually. Before that, I was living in Spain for about 10 years. And before that, I was in Colombia. So I have moved a lot when I was a kid, especially. I was never able to settle. Not that life gave me any other choice, but I was moving around constantly. When I was 18, as I just mentioned, I decided to move abroad to start a new life, which nowadays is actually quite common, So if you want to know about that journey, we're going to get into that. We're just going a little bit over for whoever doesn't know me and you're here in the podcast for the first time. It was one of the biggest and most transformative times of my life. And it's a huge part of why I'm so passionate about independence and self-discovery. The thing is about moving abroad, it wasn't just about finding a new place. It was about finding myself, which is so important. And I genuinely feel that we get so caught up to live up to other people's expectations of ourselves, or of the world's expectations, that we forget about who we truly are. It gets muted because when we're kids, right, it's easier for us to be ourselves. It's easier for us to express ourselves. But then we have the adults in our life, the world around us that shaped us and put us on in a little box, and then is our job when we're growing up and when we actually become adults to reconstruct that box and fully reshape it until you get to destroy it and learn how to not put yourself in a box, because every human being is different. We're multidimensional beings, and that's something that we need to come to terms with, and that, like I said, we forget because we get so caught up in the world that we forget about who we really are. That's why I'm so passionate about this podcast, and I've been so passionate about this, because what I would like to inspire you in this journey is how you should not be afraid of exploring yourself. How you should not be afraid of facing your shadows, your own demons, of knowing that we have goodness and badness inside of us, and that is about finding a balance. There is no human being out there that is good. We all have our own demons. But what I want from this podcast is just for you to learn about yourself. And we're going to be using astrology and spirituality to do that. Now, you don't have to believe in neither of these things if you don't want to. You can just be curious, because there's so many tools out there in the world for you to get to know yourself. For example, go to therapy. I'm big on people going to therapy. Therapy is so important. There are so many tools out there, so many people out there that try to find themselves. Either it's religion, organized religion, or either it's spirituality or astrology, numerology, human design, palmistry, mystical things. But at the end of the day, there's always something out there that we use for us to learn about ourselves. Because when we learn about ourselves is when we learn how to love ourselves. And listen, that is such a deep thing, because learning how to love yourself is something that is everywhere. Everyone tells you gotta love yourself. Yeah, but how? It's difficult, right? I'm not lying to you when I tell you that it is very, very difficult to learn how to love yourself, especially when, as human beings, we tend to see mainly the bad things in ourselves more than the good things. So it's about learning how to believe in ourselves. And that is hard work. And like I said, you might be listening to this right now and you might not believe in astrology or spirituality, but you might believe in God or in any other sort of God out there. But we're using that as a way for us to learn about ourselves. If we go back, for example, to why I moved here, there were many factors that brought me to the decision of being like, bye family, I'm out of here. But moving abroad felt like the chance to break free and start new. And sometimes we do need that in one way or another. For me, it was moving abroad. For you, might be changing a job or leaving your boyfriend or leaving your girlfriend or starting a new hobby. Or this can be taken in so many different ways. Okay, you can take this and apply it to however it works for you in your life. But at the end of the day, again, finding yourself. Know who you are at your core. And once you know who you are at your core, that's how you move in the world confidently. And you're not scared. You're not scared of the perception of people around you. You're not scared of the impact. You're not scared of what people are going to think about you. You are just being yourself. You know who you are as a person. You know why you're making certain decisions. And that is all. That is all. That's generally it. You learn to be at peace with your own mind once you get to know yourself. And it's a journey. And it's a journey that I'm still navigating, But I wanted to do this, to create this for me to show you the ways that I've done it, And I love talking. Oh my God, please someone shut me up, because I love talk. I could talk for hours. I mean, hello, podcast. I love talking. I love talking to my friends about their own journey of self-discovery, self-growth. I'm constantly talking about this. And I feel like this is definitely got to do with my Scorpio rising, because I'm constantly talking about, rebirth and transformation and letting go and all of this. And also I have a Pluto complex. So you could imagine, if you know about astrology, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't you worry, because we'll get into that point. And I generally, I'm going to do an episode for us Scorpio risings, because if you're a Scorpio rising and you're listening to this, listen. I know, you don't have to tell me. I know. So I will create an emotional support group for us, because it's a tough life out there. And the things that we bring out to people it can be a lot. And I've learned, because I know myself, I've learned to live with it, and I'm okay with it. And I actually love now being a Scorpio rising. I don't care that for some people it might be intimidating and like, ooh, too much. But I've come to terms with it, and there is something beautiful about being a Scorpio rising. This is just me learning how to love myself. For example, when I arrived in London, it felt both exhilarating. Suddenly I was alone, and it was up to me to figure things out. It wasn't just about building a life. It was about learning who I was in the process. At the time, I didn't fully realize how much astrology would eventually guide me. But looking back, I can see how certain transits and placements played a very, very big part of it. They were influencing my decisions and pushing me towards independence, because I am all about independence, girl. And I feel like independence is so cool. Freedom is so cool. Loving yourself, very cool. I mean, has its ups and downs. It's not linear, loving yourself, believe me. But it is a journey, and definitely I'm enjoying it. What's this podcast all about? Girls in Retrograde is where we'll talk about navigating relationships, both romantic and platonic, and how we can find personal growth in every challenge life throws at us. I'll be bringing a lot of astrology and spirituality into the mix because I genuinely believe they're some of the most powerful tools that we have out there to learn about self-discovery, reflection, and healing. I'm very, very big on healing. So we're going to do a lot of healing in this podcast. We're going to have a lot of uncomfortable conversations, you guys. I'm not talking about uncomfortable conversations about the world, not only because we probably will, but uncomfortable conversations with yourselves. I know. Nobody likes to have those sort of conversations with themselves because you don't like to hear the bad things about yourself. You don't like to sit down and actually face your demons and deal with them. That's the hardest part about the journey of loving yourself. I feel like that's 100% one of the reasons why people struggle so much in the journey of self-love, because we struggle to make peace with our own demons. It sounds very poetic, right? Making peace with your own demons, facing your own demons. But that's how it is. I see it as very poetic because poetry is beautiful. The best way for us to become the best version of ourselves is by knowing those parts that we don't like about ourselves. Acknowledge them and make the change. Work towards the change. Know that it exists in you and not take it personal. Surround yourself with things that align with you. Because this is one thing. Things that may be aligned for me might not align for you, the one who is listening. My friend Sarah, for example, things that align with her might not align for me. So this is something that's why I'm so big on self-discovery, on healing, of this journey, because we are people that are constantly comparing each other, comparing ourselves with everything that is out there, especially with social media out there. Believe me, I'm one of those people. I was comparing myself constantly with everything that I was seeing out there, social media and all of these things. But once you realize that each person is their own, and their life is their life, and your life is your life, and everyone has their own pace, it's not a competition. It's not a race, because everyone is going in the journey the way that it's supposed to be going. And this is what we're going to do here. This is what we're going to learn here. We're going to learn here that our journeys are different and we're going to be taking our time. And if for you might seem like it's slow, no, it's not slow. We're going with the time that you are supposed to be going. Okay, that's what we want. That's what I want you to realize, because it's so hard. It's so freaking hard, and I know it. Believe me, I freaking know it. But no, we're not here to put each other down. We're here to realize that everyone has their own timing. Okay, so yeah, astrology and spirituality, but mainly I would say astrology, have both been essential for me in making sense of life. They've helped me navigate relationships, career decisions, and my personal growth. And I want to share how they can help you too. So, why Girls in Retrograde? Why the name, you may ask? I feel like it's quite obvious anyway. I chose the name because, as many of you know, retrograde in astrology is a time where we're meant to reflect, revisit, and realign. It's about growth through challenge. And that's what this podcast is. A space for reflecting our own experiences, especially the hard ones, and finding ways to grow with them. In my own life, I've had plenty of retrograde moments, times where I felt stuck and challenged, but looking back, those were also the times where I learned the most about myself. That's the energy I want to bring into this space. So in the next episode, I know this was quite a short one, but I just wanted for you to have a little bit of a feel of what the upcoming episodes are going to be like. But don't you worry, because in the next episode, I'm going to share the full story of what led me to move abroad and how it completely changed my life and how it forced me to find my independence. So if you've ever faced a big life decision or wondered what it's like to start fresh in a new place, then you definitely do not want to miss the next episode. So today we talked about the meaning behind Girls in Retrograde, why I started the podcast, and what you can expect going forward in here. I hope you're excited as I am for what's to come. Thank you so much for tuning into this first episode. I can't wait to grow together. This is only the beginning. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't forget the next episode coming up. You can also follow the podcast at Girls in Retrograde in Instagram to stay updated. And I'd love to hear from you and what topics you'd like to explore. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bitch, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, I'm over the moon. Are you kidding me? And today, you know when I'm recording? I'm actually recording the day of the lunar eclipse in Libra. It's a very big day astrologically up there, and it's in Libra. So, you know, if you know what I'm talking about, brilliant. If you don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll get into this. Okay, see you. Bye.